It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around, finally found somebody who...
The youngest of 4 children, Dorothy Young was born on May 3, 1907 in Otisville, New York. Her father, Reverend Robert Young, pastored the Otisville Methodist Church, while her mother, Lena, served as the church's organist.
My father was chaplain of the Department of Health of New York City and a minister. I was always my father's baby girl.
Unlike her siblings who were studious, Dorothy found herself drawn to a life of glamour and adventure. Her older brother Sherman became an ordained Methodist minister, as well as a well-known professor and baseball coach at Drew University in Madison, New Jersey. Both of her sisters, Roberta and Helen, also pursued careers in education as school teachers in New Jersey.
I was so different from my sisters.
What was different?
Well, they wore Oxfords with stockings, and I wore little Mary Janes with socks, and I always wanted things different.
As a young girl, Dorothy saw an inspirational performance of Anna Pavlova, the famous early 20th century Russian ballerina. She quickly became enchanted with dance and pleaded with her parents to allow her to take ballet lessons. Thus began her illustrious dancing career. While visiting New York City in 1925, Dorothy saw a casting call in Variety for a girl dancer.
I bought a Variety, and it said, "Girl Dancer Wanted for Broadway Show and Tour of the United States," to go up to the Longacre Theater between 2 and 5.
Not knowing anything about the show, she decided to audition and was selected to be a stage assistant for Harry Houdini's Broadway show and national tour.
Houdini had been famous for 30 years, but he had always longed to have his star on his own Broadway show and tour of the United States. And that's where I came in.
Her parents objected, but with assurances from Harry and Bess Houdini to take care of Dorothy, Robert and Lena allowed her to join the show. Dorothy spent the next year touring the United States with Houdini as the Radio Girl, an act where she appeared out of a seemingly empty radio to dance the Charleston. Before leaving New York on tour with Houdini, Dorothy met a gentleman by the name of Robert Perkins. During the tour, she and Robert stayed in touch and were later married when she returned to New York in 1927. Although the marriage was short-lived, Dorothy and Bob soon had a son, Robert Perkins Jr. After Bob Jr. was born, once again, Dorothy had her eye set on Broadway. Through her show business connections, Dorothy became friends with the renowned stage actor Richard Bennett. Bennett arranged for Dorothy to audition for a Broadway production called Jarnagin at the Longacre Theater. She landed the part and remained with the show until it went on tour. While teaching at the Arthur Murray Dance Studio in New York, Dorothy became good friends with fellow dancer Gilbert Kiami. They decided to form a ballroom dance team and quickly made a name for themselves with an innovative dance called the Rumbolero, a combination of the rumba and bolero. They danced at nightclubs, on cruise ships, and at hotels such as the Waldorf Astoria and San Moritz all through the 1930s. With the arrival of World War II, Gilbert was drafted into the Army at Fort Monmouth, and Bob Jr. joined the Navy, where he was assigned to the Pacific Theater in the Philippines. With her son overseas and her partner Gilbert stationed nearby, Dorothy decided to support the war effort and volunteer at Fort Monmouth.
During the war, I had never worked outside of show business. People who know me say, It's the most unbelievable thing what I did. I wrote the specification for the shock absorbers for the Army, Navy, and Air Force.
Dorothy and Gilbert soon retired from show business and married. Gilbert joined his family's business in New York City, and Dorothy, while recovering from a recent illness, began writing a book. In 1953, it was published, Diary Without Dates, a memoir about her spiritual journey, marked by a rededication to her faith and heritage. She later wrote and published another book entitled Dancing on a Dime, her story of a dancing trip across the United States during a hard economic time. After the publication of her first book, a friend invited Dorothy to join her at a painting lesson with Madame Journet. Showing once again her innate gift for the arts, Dorothy soon became an accomplished and prolific painter. She was later invited to join the prestigious Society of the 50 American Artists, and her works were exhibited at galleries in New York and Palm Beach. During the 1980s, Drew University president Paul Hardin invited Dorothy to a commemorative event for her brother Sherman, thus starting an extensive philanthropic relationship with the university. In 1995, Drew awarded Dorothy with an honorary degree, and in 2001, ground was broken for the new Dorothy Young Center for the Arts at Drew University. The building officially opened in 2003. While continuing her connection with Drew, Dorothy also became involved with Jersey Shore Medical Center, where she served on the board and donated a chapel in the memory of her parents, Robert and Lena. Dorothy also donated the Ocean Grove Youth Temple in memory of her parents, who first brought her to the Ocean Grove, New Jersey camp meeting as a little girl. Throughout her life, family and friends have been central to Dorothy. From her parents and siblings, to her son, 4 grandchildren, 9 great-grandchildren, and countless others she has touched over the last century.
Every morning, before I get out of bed, I pray for each and every one down the line. And then I have coffee looking at the ocean from my upstairs living room, and I count my blessings as I look at the ocean. And I consider myself very fortunate. I've had a lot of illness, a lot of detours, a lot of could be unhappiness, but I am at peace with myself.
Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of